So right now, the narrative is that, like, Mario Tennis Fever is failing. It's not doing anywhere near as well as Mario Tennis Aces, the best-selling Mario Tennis game ever. They are totally struggling to find customers because people are so disgusted by the price point and the fact that they have to play tennis in this tennis game. It is abominable. It's disgusting. It is positively pathetic how the community is trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. I have seen like RGT make videos about this. I've seen like that retard OmniArc talk about it. I've seen like all sorts of people like try and cope and seethe about this, but like the simple fact of the matter is you can look on the eShop right now and you can see that Mario Tennis Fever is on top of the eShop charts. You know, whatever narrative these guys are trying to come up with, like trying to tell you that this thing had a worse launch than every Mario Tennis game other than like Mario Tennis on the Virtual Boy, like they're just embarrassing themselves at this point. Like, who are they trying to fool? Like, seriously, who are they trying to fool? Like, well, their physical sales are down. Yeah, because digital is going up. You know, I don't get it. When you account for the digital sales, I'm pretty sure Mario Tennis Fever is doing perfectly fine. And then, like, so if you take that into consideration, the entire discrepancy falls apart, okay? The idea that Tennis Fever is failing doesn't hold water when you look at, like, you know, the online community, when you look at, like, the discussion online, when you look at the numbers, like, everything I have seen in the analytics seems to indicate that, like, the idea that this game bombed is just a giant code. And this really needs to be reiterated more because I really do think that at this point, the community is, like, actively malicious. You know, they are straight up, like, making shit up. Because I remember, like, during the holiday season, they tried running an article saying, like, the PS5 is outselling the Switch 2. And then you, like, look into it, and then you find, like, digital edition PS5s, like, selling on clearance for, like, $150. Like, why do you think it's selling better than the Switch 2? Like, it's not doing better than the Switch 2. It's not selling more games than the Switch 2. It doesn't have... Like, they just shut down another studio, okay? You're not seeing anybody make videos about that, but you're seeing them, like, concern troll about fucking Mario Tennis. It's embarrassing. Like, oh, yeah, Blue Point. Oh, they haven't done anything besides remake Shadow of the Colossus, the only good PlayStation game ever produced. Like, are you serious? Like, let's not talk about that. Let's try and argue that Mario Tennis Fever is somehow going to kill the Switch. You know? Like, that's what OmniArc did. The fucking, like, dipshit is that, like, oh, there hasn't been a single Nintendo Switch 2 game that's lit the world on fire. No. Fuck you. You are embarrassing yourself. Like, I want you to sit in the corner and just keep your webcam off. Because you contribute absolutely nothing to the sphere. All of your videos are clickbait. You misrepresent everything. You are scum. And that goes for anyone else who, like, tried shilling for this idea. You know, Oliver Gia, who really needs to go on the blacklist, by the way. RGT85. I'm not sure who else tried to push this angle. I didn't see a whole lot. But, like, again, this is the typical story we've been seeing. You know, this is what... before Nintendo released the sales reports, we were being told that the Switch 2 itself was not selling well. You know? Like, it wasn't until they confirmed that, like, yeah, it totally did 17 million units. That, like, you know, these guys had to backtrack, you know. They tried really hard to push this idea that, like, well, it only sold 15 million units to consumers, and, like, the 17 million figure was only to retailers. It's like, what do you think the retailers are gonna do with those Switch 2s, genius? It's like... Who are you trying to fool? It's just like, come on. You're embarrassing yourselves. So again, there's lots of things up with, like, the analysis regarding the situation. And I do want to break this down for you a little bit. So Mario Tennis Fever. Okay. So if you look at the actual Famitsu chart, it debuted number 2, okay, just behind Yakuza 3, which, by the way, also launched on Switch 2. Okay, so it launched behind Yakuza 3 Kiwami at, like, a respectable 40,000. You know, it outperformed Dragon Quest this week. You know, it's doing reasonably well, okay? Like, even with the physical numbers. Of course, like, you have the digital distribution as well, but, like, you know, like, you're arguing that a game that debuted number 2 this week is doing badly. You know, like, you really think this thing isn't going to have momentum? You really think it's not going to have legs? You know, Tennis Aces did like 4.5 million, you know? Like, Tennis Aces was awesome. Tennis Aces had, like, you know, a pretty good run, right? So, I think Fever is going to be kind of the same way, in which, like, this is going to be the Mario Tennis game this generation. So I think a lot of people are going to be picking it up, you know, digitally or otherwise, like, throughout the console gen. Like, I don't see this game, like, bombing like people have said it is, especially because, like, you just look at it and, like, you look at the numbers and you see, like, it's already doing fairly well. You know, like, what we're seeing now is just people spurging out over absolutely nothing. There's, like, no reason to think that this game is, like, some kind of misstep or an embarrassment or not doing well. Like, for me, it just seems like all of this is just a gigantic cope from YouTubers who just want to clickbait. And that's just kind of my opinion on this. Like, look at what these guys were doing, like, 2 weeks ago, right? Or a month ago, 2 months ago. Like, you know, they were telling you that, like, Pokemon Legends ZA failed. They were telling you Air Riders was going to fail. They told you that, like, Mario Kart World failed. The Switch 2 failed. What happened? You know, all of that was proven wrong. Okay? All of it. Like, at this point, even if Mario Tennis failed, that hypothetical if, like, it wouldn't impact the Switch 2 at all. Like, these guys really think that, like, one game that doesn't perform to expectations is somehow going to tank the console because there's nothing else to play on it when, you know, Yakuza Kiwami 3, the other game, the only game on the Famitsu chart that's higher than Mario Tennis this week, did actually release on Switch 2. So, like, again, I bought both, okay? You know, I'm going to be picking up Requiem on Switch 2. I'm going to be getting Tales of Berseria on Switch 2. I'm getting, like, Pokapia on Switch 2. Like, I have a lot to look forward to on this console. So, like, what do these guys think is going to happen? Like, do they think I'm just going to be like, oh, man, I don't like Nintendo anymore. Mario Tennis was just so bad. Things that never fucking happen. Okay, like, that really needs to be, like, just put in bold letters whenever these guys, like, make their crazy statements. Like, things that never happened. Okay, like, again, I really do need to reiterate just how insane it is, how the community is so desperate to try and downplay Switch 2 and Mario Tennis, and, like, it's probably going to continue until, like, we start getting new games, and it's gonna kind of be like, you know, Jamboree or, like, you know, Nintendo Switch Sports or, like, you know, Princess Peach Showtime or any one of these games. Like, these games are going to continue selling over time. You know, I remember people being shocked. You know, Nintendo Switch Sports is probably the definitive example of this. Like, that game was hated by YouTubers when it came out for all these really petty reasons. And then, like, you know, it sold, like, what, 12 million? Like, it's a huge hit. You know, and they even updated it, like, a couple of years later. So, like, you know, when you take that into consideration, when you think about that for 2 seconds, like, it really does feel as if these guys are just coping and seething about anything they can possibly get their hands on, okay? Like, they will straight up make stories out of whole cloth because some guy on Twitter said something. Like, and it's just embarrassing, I think. That's kind of my mindset on this. Mario Tennis Fever, I think, is Game of the Year so far. I think it's going to be quite a bit better than Resident Evil 9. I expect it's going to be better than Tales of Berseria. Pokapia, I think, is the only game in the near future that I think could be better than it. But, like, we'll have to see for that. But, like, for now, I'm just kind of sitting here, like, looking at this game and its success and how, like, enthusiastic pretty much everyone is about it. And then, like, seeing RGT do his, like, clickbait thing, and it's just like, shut the fuck up, you retard. Like, why don't you just sit in the corner, like, and watch WWE? You know, watch some fake-ass, like, combat sports, because, like, that's, like, clearly what you're more into. Yeah, play WWE 2K on Nintendo Switch 2, okay? You know, play this slop, like, yearly, annual, like, license game from 2K and just completely ignore, like, all the better games that are coming out. Like, just don't invade our space at all. Like, don't, just fuck off. I don't want to hear from you again. So, That's kind of my mentality going into this. Is just like this was all just a giant cope. Okay, everything we saw with the Mario Tennis Fever thing, you know, with like the pre-release backlash and like the damage control and the writing the game off and like the success and like the writing off the success and like, you know, making things up about the game. Like it's very interesting to see like how all of that has just kind of like completely fallen apart. But what's also interesting is how like the community just kind of refuses to admit it. Like so many of these guys are just kind of hinging on like old like stereotypes. They're just like, come on guys, I thought we agreed. We all hate Mario sports games. No, that is not true. That has never been true. That will never be true. Like you are completely delusional and out of touch with reality. Mario sports games are awesome and will continue dominating this specific niche for years to come.